started, the first thing that was different about the promised land for the Israelites was that there was war. There was war. There was no war in the wilderness, but there was now war in the promised land. You're saying to me, promised land war, how is that? Well, just think about it. The Israelites had to fight for their promised land. Possessing the land required war. It required a fight for every bit of land that God had promised to them. So yes, God had promised it to them. He actually said, I will give it to you. But he didn't just give it to them. They actually had to do something for it. And in this country today, where people think, that some people think that things must just be given and I can just sit on my butt and do nothing. No, that's not, we see in the Bible, God says, I'm going to give this to you, but they still had to do something. They still had to apply themselves to take a hold of what God had promised them. Joshua 1 verse 2-4. Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, you and all this people, to the land which I am giving to them, the children of Israel. Every place that the sole of your foot will tread upon, I have given you. He's given it to them. That's what he says. As I said to Moses, from the wilderness and this Lebanon, as far as the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and to the great sea toward the going down of the sun shall be your territory. So God gave them this massive promise concerning the promised land. All of this territory, he said, I'm giving it to you. But they still had to fight for it. And they had to fight for it one battle at a time. God said he was going to give it to them, but there was resistance. And there was more than resistance sometimes. There was actually war. And God uses the resistance and God uses the war to help us to get stronger. When we have to fight and stand and endure and wage war, it's not actually because God is not doing his part. It's not because he's some sadistic God up there that's kind of teasing us and tantalizing us. No, he's doing it because while we are waging war, while we are standing, while we are fighting, while we are enduring, we are actually growing stronger. And when we possess the land and more of it, we will be stronger from the fighting. And so there's method in the madness, to use that phrase. Exodus 23 verse 29-30. This is the Lord speaking, and he says, I will not drive them out from before you in 1 year. This is the Lord speaking to his people. He's not going to give them the land all at once. He says, I will not drive them out from before you in 1 year, lest the land become desolate and the beasts of the field become too numerous for you. Little by little, I will drive them out from before you until you have increased and you inherit the land. God was not going to drive their enemies out all at once, like many of us would. We think we would like that. But God says, no, I can't do that, because the beasts of the field will become too numerous for you, and the land will become desolate. I'm going to drive them out little by little, so when you finally have it all, you are able to contain it and maintain it. Okay, so God loves to give us our territory and our victories, our promised land, one bit at a time. We can remember this as we go to war for our promised land. God has promised us a new season. He's giving us a new season and a season to enter our promised land, but it will require war.